All right, strap yourselves in because we're diving headfirst into one of the Premier League's most intriguing stories this season. January 2025, and the usual suspects, Liverpool and Manchester United, are making headlines, but not quite in the way we're used to.
Yeah, definitely a twist in the tail this time around. It's not just a battle for league position. We're seeing two clubs grappling with the legacies of iconic managers, but their approaches couldn't be more different. Liverpool defying all expectations post-Klopp and, well, United. Let's just say it's been a bumpy ride for them.
So let's break this down. Liverpool, top of the table, comfy 6-point lead, and a game in hand. They're sailing through the Champions League, still in the League Cup, and all this after everyone predicted a post-Klopp slump.
Remarkable, isn't it? And it's not just carrying on from where Klopp left off. Arne Slot's building on that foundation, but he's also subtly tweaking the team's dynamics. Even that Opta supercomputer prediction, giving them over 70% chance of winning their next match against United, that's not just random optimism, it's data backing up a team that's firing on all cylinders.
Subtle shifts, you say. What exactly is Slot changing? Because from a fan's perspective, it still looks like the same high-energy Liverpool we've come to expect.
And that's the brilliance of it. He's kept the core, the intense pressing, the rapid transitions, but there's a more pronounced focus on possession now. It's about controlling the tempo, dictating the game. Imagine Klopp's heavy metal with a touch of Mozart.
I like that. But honestly, even the most die-hard Liverpool fan wouldn't have predicted this level of dominance, especially with preseason predictions. Remember Gary Lineker practically writing them off?
Exactly. And that's what makes this deep dive so captivating. Because while Liverpool are exceeding expectations, Manchester United, well, implosion might be too strong a word, but they're definitely not living up to their legacy.
14th place. Their worst ever start to a Premier League season. Ruben Amorim, their 6th permanent manager in a decade. That's got to be some kind of record, right?
It definitely points to a deeper issue within the club. While Liverpool, under FSG, have been a model of stability and long-term vision, United seem trapped in a cycle of reactive decisions, always chasing quick fixes instead of a cohesive strategy.
And just to rub salt in the wound, their last encounter with Liverpool ended in a brutal 3-0 defeat. I can only imagine the tension building for their next clash at Anfield.
Absolutely, and that's where the real intrigue lies. It's not just bragging rights. This is a clash of philosophies, a microcosm of the bigger picture in the Premier League. You've got Liverpool, a team meticulously built through smart transfers and a clear tactical identity, facing a United side that seems to have lost its way.
And speaking of transfers, that's one area where the contrast between the two is glaringly obvious. Liverpool, under FSG, they've been hailed for their Moneyball-esque approach, unearthing gems like Salah and Van Dijk for what now seem like bargain prices.
And it's not just about the price tag, it's about finding players who fit the system, enhance the existing strengths. Liverpool's transfer strategy has been surgical precision, while United, despite their spending sprees, often end up with a mismatched collection of talent.
Perfect example. United splashed a fortune on player X a couple of seasons back, and he barely got any game time. Their fans were fuming, and understandably so. It's like they're throwing darts at a board instead of having a plan.
A classic case of mistaking spending power for strategic thinking. You can have all the money in the world, but if you're not investing it wisely, it's just going down the drain.
And that brings us to the men behind the curtain, the owners. FSG, with their long-term vision, their unwavering commitment to Liverpool's success, they're the polar opposite of the Glazers, who are constantly under fire from United fans. They feel the club's being run like a business, not a team with a rich history and passionate fans.
It's a fascinating contrast, isn't it? Because while FSG have empowered Klopp, and now Slot, to build a winning machine, the Glazers' approach has created a sense of instability at United. It's almost like they're operating on different timelines, Liverpool focus on the future, while United are stuck in reactive damage control.
But even with all this turmoil at United, and Liverpool seemingly unstoppable, there's this one individual story that's got everyone talking. Mohamed Salah. Constant rumors about his future, and yet the man is on fire. 39 goals and assists in 2024 alone. That's just ridiculous.
It's a testament to his dedication, his ability to thrive under pressure, and don't forget his incredible record against United, 12 goals and 6 assists in the Premier League. He seems to love the big stage, doesn't he?
He certainly does, and it raises an interesting question. How much of Salah's success is pure individual brilliance, and how much is a product of the system Slot's created? It's a bit of a chicken and egg situation, isn't it?
It is, and it's a question we'll definitely explore as we delve deeper into this deep dive. But for now, it's clear that Salah's form reflects the wider success story at Liverpool. Individual talent flourishing within a well-defined, expertly executed system.
And that's where we'll wrap up part 1 of our deep dive. But before we move on, I want to leave you with this. Is Liverpool's current dominance just a fleeting moment of brilliance? Or are we witnessing the birth of a dynasty? And can Manchester United, a club steeped in history and tradition, find their way back to the top?
Join us in part 2 as we tackle these questions and dig deeper into the tactical nuances, the leadership dynamics, and the strategic decisions shaping this fascinating Premier League season. Back again for more of our deep dive. We're untangling this captivating clash of titans that's been unfolding in the Premier League this season. Picking up right where we left off, exploring those contrasting fortunes of Liverpool and Manchester United.
And what really strikes me, beyond just looking at the league table, is how these two clubs embody two completely different approaches to what it means to be successful in the modern game. It's almost like we're watching a live case study in football management, right?
You hit the nail on the head. And it's particularly interesting when we consider Liverpool's transition after Klopp. I'll be honest, I had my doubts, like many others, about whether they could maintain that intensity, that winning mentality, without Klopp's charismatic leadership.
And yet, here they are, surpassing expectations under Arne Slot. But you mentioned before that it's not just about preserving what Klopp built. What are some of the key distinctions you see in Slot's approach?
Well, one thing that stands out is Slot's emphasis on possession-based football. While Klopp's Liverpool was all about that relentless press and those lightning-fast transitions, Slot's added a layer of control, a focus on dictating the pace of the game.
So it's not just about winning the ball back quickly, it's about what you do with it once you have it.
Precisely. And this shift in emphasis demands a different kind of player, a different set of skills. And we see that in how players like Thiago, with his ability to keep hold of the ball, his vision, and his passing range, are flourishing under Slot. These qualities are really coming to the forefront.
It's like he's taken a finely tuned engine and added a turbocharger, one designed for both power and precision.
A brilliant analogy. But it's not just about tactics, is it? What's truly remarkable is how Slot has managed to keep that harmony and unity within the squad, even with all the transfer rumors constantly swirling around key players like Salah, Van Dijk, and Alexander-Arnold.
It makes you think back to Trent Alexander-Arnold's celebration after he scored against West Ham. That talking gesture seemed like a direct response to those Real Madrid rumors, wouldn't you say?
Oh, it definitely sent a message. And Slot's response in the post-match press conference was quite telling. He didn't try to avoid the topic at all. He addressed it head-on, expressing his confidence in keeping those players, but also emphasizing that the team comes before any individual.
Which suggests a level of trust and open communication that's crucial for any successful team, especially one facing the pressures of being at the top.
Absolutely. And that brings us to a critical aspect of Slot's success: leadership. He came in after a legendary figure, managed those big personalities, and kept the entire squad focused on their shared objectives. That's not an easy task.
And it really highlights the stark contrast with Manchester United, where instability seems to be the norm. Ruben Amorim as their 6th permanent manager in a decade. It's almost impossible to build a winning culture with that level of constant change, isn't it?
It's like they're trying to build a house on shifting sand. You need a strong foundation to create something lasting, and that foundation starts with clear leadership and a cohesive strategy.
And it goes beyond just the manager, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The Glazers' ownership has been a constant source of frustration for United fans, who feel like their club is being treated more like a business than a team with such a rich history and such a passionate fan base.
Their approach to transfers has also been a major point of contention. They've splashed huge amounts of cash, but it often feels like panic buying, reacting to crises instead of following a long-term vision. Remember when they signed player X for an absurd fee and he hardly played?
Oh, don't remind me. The fans were rightly outraged. It's as if they're playing fantasy football with real money, with no regard for team chemistry or tactical coherence.
It's a textbook example of how spending power doesn't equal intelligent investment. You can have all the resources in the world, but if you're not using them strategically, you're setting yourself up for failure.
It's like that old saying, you can't buy class. And that's what's so frustrating for United fans. They see Liverpool, their rivals, being run with intelligence and long-term thinking, things that seem to be absent at Old Trafford.
It's a harsh reminder of what could be, right? Because Manchester United, with their history, their global fan base, their resources, they have everything needed for success. But until they address those core issues of leadership, strategy, and ownership, they're going to keep struggling.
And that brings us back to the heart of this deep dive, the contrasting journeys of these two giants, each representing a different path, a different philosophy. It reminds us that success in football, much like in life, isn't just about talent. It's about the systems you put in place, the decisions you make, the culture you cultivate.
And as we move into the final part of our deep dive, I want you to think about this. What can we learn from the Liverpool model? And what lessons, however painful, can we take from Manchester United's experience? Because their stories, these triumphs and struggles, hold valuable insights that go far beyond the football pitch.
All right, welcome back for the final stretch of our deep dive, where we've been taking a magnifying glass to the contrasting paths of Liverpool and Manchester United this season. We've covered tactics, we've dissected leadership, and we've explored the impact of ownership. But now I want to shift gears and look ahead. What are the big what-ifs, those potential turning points that can completely rewrite the story for these two clubs?
It really is fascinating because even with Liverpool's current dominance and United's struggles, football is a game where predictions can be thrown out the window. What seems like a sure thing today can change in an instant with a single transfer, an injury, or even just a shift in momentum.
Absolutely. So let's start with Liverpool. Can they keep this incredible run going? Are we seeing the beginning of a dynasty to rival Manchester United's glory days, or is this just a temporary peak?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And to be honest, there isn't a simple answer. On paper, they tick all the boxes for sustained success. A talented and balanced squad, a manager who's proven he can adapt and evolve the team's style, a stable ownership structure focused on the long game. And let's not forget that intangible element, the winning mentality. They know how to grind out results, handle pressure, and seize those crucial moments.
But you did say earlier that football loves to throw curveballs. What are some of the potential challenges or turning points that could disrupt Liverpool's ambitions?
Well, firstly, maintaining this level of performance season after season is a Herculean task. The Premier League is a gauntlet, and their rivals will be analyzing their every move, searching for any cracks to exploit. And then there's squad depth. Injuries to key players could really throw them off, especially when they're competing on multiple fronts.
And let's not forget those contract negotiations looming on the horizon. Holding on to players like Salah, Van Dijk, and Alexander-Arnold will be vital if they want to maintain their competitive edge.
You're absolutely right. It's a delicate balancing act for the club. Reward loyalty and performance while keeping the wage bill under control and making sure they have the financial flexibility to keep strengthening the squad. One misstep in the transfer market could have repercussions for years.
So it's not just about winning on the pitch, but making smart moves off the pitch too. It's about that comprehensive long-term approach that FSG has been so lauded for.
Exactly. And that's where the contrast with Manchester United becomes even more striking. Because while Liverpool are navigating these challenges from a position of strength, United are still wrestling with those fundamental questions about their identity, their direction.
So let's talk about United then. Is there any realistic way back to the top for them? Or are they staring down the barrel of an extended period of mediocrity, maybe even a relegation battle, as some pundits have suggested?
Oh, that's a tough one. And I really wouldn't want to be in Ruben Amorim's shoes right now. He's inherited a squad that lacks both quality and cohesion, and he's operating under an ownership structure that's constantly being criticized by the fans.
It's almost as if he's been handed a jigsaw puzzle with missing pieces and told to create a masterpiece.
A perfect analogy. And the pressure is relentless, the fans are losing patience, and the demand for results is immense.
So what needs to change? What are the essential steps Manchester United need to take if they want to reclaim their spot amongst the elite?
Well, it all starts with having a clear vision, a cohesive strategy that goes beyond simply splashing the cash on big-name players. They need to figure out a style of play that plays to their strengths and build a squad that can execute that vision. And that might mean making tough calls, selling players who don't fit the plan, investing in young talent, and giving a manager the time and trust to build a system.
It sounds like a long and potentially painful road ahead.
Oh, it definitely will be. But there are no shortcuts to success in football. Just look at Liverpool. Their current dominance is the culmination of years of meticulous planning, strategic investment, and a willingness to make difficult decisions.
And that brings us back to the individuals at the heart of these two clubs. Mohamed Salah's future at Liverpool is still up in the air. Will he stay and solidify his legacy as a club legend, or will he pursue a new challenge? And what about Marcus Rashford over at Manchester United? Can he rediscover his form and become the talismanic leader they so desperately need?
These individual narratives, these stories of ambition and uncertainty, that's what makes football so captivating. Because in the end, it's all about people striving for greatness, navigating the highs and lows that define a career, a season, even a single match.
And that's what we'll be watching for as this season unfolds. Those individual battles, the tactical nuances, the unexpected twists and turns that keep us glued to our screens.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we'll leave you with some food for thought. Will Liverpool's reign continue? Can Manchester United find their way back to the top? And perhaps most importantly, what lessons can we, as fans, as observers of the game, take away from these contrasting journeys? Because their stories offer a glimpse into the dynamics of success and failure, the power of vision and strategy, and the enduring strength of human ambition.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the heart of the Premier League. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep the conversation alive.